So we're here to talk about a project, and I'll turn it over to these wonderful youth that are sitting here beside me because they really have the best stories to tell. But I'll give you a brief overview of our project. We were talking one day in our group, which is called the Iowa Disability Group. I said, you know, if you could do anything about bullying, what would you guys do? And these folks right here said, if we could, we would go talk to our former schools, talk to middle school students about bullying and the impact it had on our lives, and how they can have hope for the future and how they can overcome that experience themselves.
I have a high-functioning form of autism, although you can't really tell I have it. And I care about this issue because autism is a very common disability. Not many people know how common it is. And when I was bullied, sometimes when it comes to autism and bullying, it can really be hard to deal with. Like, I didn't really know what bullying meant, and when I was bullied, it was almost like they weren't being nice to me at all, and I didn't really tell the teachers about it or anything. But then as I got older, I started to deal with it by talking to my teachers about it and seeing what they could do. In terms of advice, I would just say, like, tell your kid if they are experiencing bullying, don't put off trying to stop it at the last minute, because, as I said before, some of the effects on bullying can be really bad. Because I didn't tell anyone about me being bullied until the last minute as well, and I didn't do anything really bad, but I was just not as talkative as I am today. So always talk to your kid about if they are experiencing bullying or not, because it's a good way to boost up your kid's self-esteem. Another way I overcame it was I just ignored it for some time, because I knew what they were doing has nothing to do with me, so it was just their problem, not mine.
Well, my name's Sarah, and I have been bullied a lot throughout my life, and it's caused me to go through anxiety, depression, and a learning disability where it was hard for me, and a social phobia. The reason why I care about issue relating bullying, because like it hurts, it really does, and kids get bullied each year. And it leads people to where they can't stand to live anymore. It leads people to not want to go to anybody, and because they're afraid. Because I'm still afraid to talk about bullying, because I'm still bullied at school. But the reason why I'm here today is because I want to stop it throughout the country. And the reason why I want to stop it is because it hurts. It led me to depression. It led me to a lot of anxiety and social phobia. When I was in elementary school, I was bullied, but I didn't really say anything because I had a few friends here and there, and I learned that I can go through life, and I don't really want those people in my life because they're not good for me. So I went to middle school and everything, and I had a really good 6th grade year. Some bad things happened to my life that changed my world around. I had a friend kill herself, and she was such a bundle of joy. She really was. And I've always wondered what has caused her to do that. Like each year on her anniversary, it's hard for me because I learned suicide and suicide thoughts and depression from her. I never knew what suicide was or any of that stuff. I never knew what it was until she did that. I remember laying in my bed and wondering, why does this have to happen to people who are so good in the world? So that's how I learned about suicide and depression and everything like that. Sorry, just still makes me cry. So my experience on bullying is that it killed her. It really did. It drove her to the part that she was gonna kill herself. How many of you have been bullied? Raise your hand. That's a lot. That's a lot. And so each day you were bullied, did it hurt? Yeah, it hurt. So my experience, it hurt me. And it still is gonna hurt me. From the day I die, but you know what, I'm not gonna kill myself over it. I'm gonna live till I can. And so I'm gonna keep living, and I'm never gonna give up. Thank you.
I've experienced it mostly in middle school, because I'm not in high school yet. I've had paper balls thrown on my back and most verbal abuse, which cannot be ignored. I feel like every day coming home from school after that class made me feel like that I was nothing anymore. It made me feel like that I was just somebody who they thought I was and that I was up to no good. But with the courage of my parents and my grandparents, I got back on track. And I was able to overcome that experience and move forward with my life, because there is so much that I want to do with myself, and I don't want it to become to the point where I kill myself. I want to be able to go on in my life and to pursue opportunities that have in store for me in the world. I was able to overcome it by talking about it with people who I trust and care about. And the one thing that I want everyone to know is always talk about your problems. If you hold back inside of you, it will just get worse. So always get your feelings out, no matter which way it is, just get them out of your system.
This actually gives a huge message out to not just Iowa, but probably the entire world, because everywhere you go, there's always something happening, like bullying and prejudice, discrimination, and I think this is just empowering to everyone.
As we wrap up, I would like to encourage each of you to think about how bullying impacts everyone. Most people at some point in their lives will experience bullying, and we hope that we've given supporters on how to approach it when it happens. Thank you for your time and attention today.
I will say too, just as a person who works with youth a lot, you may have impacts that you don't know about as a parent or as a service provider. You know, I get the pleasure of working with youth like these guys every day, and you do have an impact, even if it doesn't feel like they're not always telling you things. You're shaping their lives, and you're people they look up to. So I just want to encourage you that does make a difference, and that's kind of why it takes all of us, right? Because if someone maybe doesn't tell their parents, but they'll tell their friend or they'll tell their teacher, and that's why you all are so important, because it really takes an entire network of people to help a person through this experience.